Police call this a, quote, impact push. But critics, including this retired law enforcement officer, call the video and use of force disturbing.
Air Force units may also be directed to combat said classified due to their enormous size and otherworldly strengths. Should event occur in urban areas, Jesus, that's classified.
Here's the tips. Check out tip number 1. Identify the types of emergencies that are possible in your area. Besides a zombie apocalypse, this may include floods, tornadoes, or earthquakes.
Verbeth believes she's being targeted.
Everything. They just went through everything.
But sheriff's detectives had little to go on because the vandals, though often destructive, stole nothing. Even from her portable safe drilled into and torn apart, the contents, the jewelry, remained untouched.
Well, my apartment was broken into, and nothing was really taken but some little items and personal letters I had written to myself.
President Lyndon B. Johnson had on his board of science advisors geophysicist J.F. McDonald, who wrote, quote, "One could develop a system that would seriously impair the brain performance of very large populations in selected regions over an extended period."
Wisconsin is the latest state, including Iowa, Kansas, Maine, Ohio, and Wyoming, to join Florida's suit. The states claiming The Exorcist, Saw Unchesracho, and Play Bringrits by health urgent.
They're listening to us and recording us. We know that because they will record us and play it back as a voicemail.
So how is this possible? Just take a look at the internet. That's where you'll find the latest spy technology for cell phones. Marketers claim you can tap into someone's calls, read their text messages, and track their movements anywhere, anytime. They say you can catch a cheating spouse, protect your children, and hear what your boss is saying about you. And they'll never know because it's supposed to be completely invisible with absolutely no trace.
Y'all do that? That's terrible, man. What are y'all doing? What? You got to move on. Come on. Hey, yo, you see this shit?
When I joined the military, I raised my hand and said that I would protect the Constitution of the United States and its people, and against foreign and domestic enemies. But guess what? I did not raise my hand to protect private companies.
Far surpassing our darkest nightmares. Should casualties exceed classified body disposal actions, shall be halted and associated resources shall be reallocated to classified underground, classified protected birthing centers. A new Bill of Rights shall be drafted and approved by classified.
Today, the D'Souza family tried to explain to us why they did it with binders of data and electronic measuring devices which prove their neighbors are bombarding them with microwaves and other kinds of radiation.
Hi, my name is Brenda Barrett-Crow. I'm an electronic harassment and surveillance targeted individual.
The CIA's program in experimental mind control became known as MK Ultra.
MK Ultra was a government program to see whether through various different techniques people could be made to do things which they wouldn't normally do.
Now, Defense Minister McLeod did confirm today that more than 54 18 fighter jets are spending about as much as 20 and ready to assist the 100 deployed over the amount needed. Now, it did depend that how the NOLAN remerges our end, while the university or the UN mission as whole received support from all batteries in the hues of the garbins of today. Excuse me. I'll hand it back to you.
My daughter was babysitting, and they called, and they knew the name of the little girl she was babysitting. They said her name.
There's a term, once a Marine, always a Marine, but there's also the term, eat the apple, F the core. I don't work for you no more.
Up until a year ago, Evie and I had never had any run-in with the law whatsoever. We are not criminals, nor are we fugitives from justice, nor are we crazy. We are simply artists and filmmakers who are being racketeered on.
Back when the stalking first started, when they were actually like physically doing it, like you could see like doing driving stuff, like talking about you when you're walking past them, talking about something you did that day when you happen to walk past them. Street theater, I think it's called.
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
I'm sorry.
Wipe the drill.
I was in a trance.
Yeah, wipe the drill there.
This stuff's pretty creepy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Rick Mislin is a former military intelligence officer who now runs the cyber forensics lab at Purdue University. He's examined thousands of cell phones and says spy software can now make even the most high-tech phone vulnerable.
I didn't see the girl resisting the officer. I didn't see where the officer gave the opportunity for her to comply with any orders. It was very troubling.
After the teen was thrust into the wall, for a moment she lies motionless on the ground while being handcuffed. Police say she wasn't hurt, but the video shows what appears to be a bloody wound on her head.
When are we going to realize that people fighting in Iraq against us, they're not terrorists, they're soldiers. What would we do if somebody invaded us? I know I will pick up my weapon and fight against them.
I want to be able to go to the tennis courts and play tennis or play ping pong without people following us everywhere. It's just nerve-wracking.
I mean, they've been harassing me for like over 15 years. It's called I'm a targeted individual. It's like I don't know. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they're doing it. I haven't done anything to anybody.
What? Well, that's the worst part of it. If it was me, I would take action.
During the 1960s and 1970s, Dr. Andrija Puharich studied the impact ELF waves have on the brain. What he discovered was shocking. Dr. Puharich found that a 6.6 hertz ELF wave could cause depression. A 7.83 hertz ELF wave made a person feel good, producing an altered state. And a 10.80 hertz ELF wave could trigger riotous behavior.
I love you. Can we do any more? Let me do some more. Let me do some more. I'll do some more for you. Talk. We've done all talking today. But
times for the different
But I
girls.
didn't think that technology existed.
Well, I didn't
know
either.
that
I had no
the
idea.
camera phone would come on and show the room. Robert, does that exist?
The technology certainly does exist that could monitor your activities via your cellular phone. Absolutely.
That man just came out of a wheelchair. They fucked him up for real. Come on, now you're getting loud. Move on, sir. You're getting loud.
I mean, I've heard it argued, and argued successfully, that our society runs on war. You know, it runs on the domination of the other parts of the world. And literally, that's the only way you can control a gigantic chunk of the globe. You have to keep everybody down.
Tip number 2, pick a meeting place for your family to regroup in case zombies invade your home. These are actual tips, by the way.
Verbeff says all these happenings culminated in an assault. The 39-year-old believes someone drugged the food in her home and returned later to rape her.
I know something happened to me because a woman knows.
She filed a report and was briefly hospitalized with signs of sexual assault.
And as a child, I was subjected to mind control experimentation that is continuing today.
Cheryl believes she became a targeted individual, a TI, in the 1980s, when she walked into an Army recruiting office to see if she qualified for college tuition money. She decided not to enlist. And that's when she claims the strange mind control phenomenon began.
The hearing of the voices, the manipulation of all your electrical equipment, the clicks on the phone, the reading your thoughts, the reading your mind, seeing what you're seeing.
They can control my eyebrows, my face, my tone of voice, and they often do.
So they are literally able to remote control my son right now.
Imagine being able to hear something without necessarily hearing it, since, you know, someone's speaking to you, you know, where it's barely a whisper, you know, it's almost a whisper. They've fluctuated between that and a louder noise over the last couple of days.
I think a lot of people think their cell phone calls are very secure. Our privacy isn't always what we think it is.
And you don't have to take his word for it. Just ask Cindy Hebert.
Here's an update for Rachel's airport discovery.
Cindy is a producer at Channel 13, and with her permission, I've installed spy software onto her cell phone.
Hi, it's me. What are you doing?
While Cindy's at home making phone calls to her family.
Have you guys thought any more about
coming through here to Indianapolis to Florida? Yeah, it'll be a long time.
I'm outside on my cell phone listening to the whole conversation.
Whenever you make it through, we'll be here.
That young man has mental issues. He's mentally retarded, sir. Just need to let you know. We got a video recorded that he had his hands up.
Our enemy is not 5,000 miles away. They are right here at home. If we organize and fight with our sisters and brothers, we can stop this war, we can stop this government, and we can create a better world.
The D'Souza family includes 2 college-educated young women who say scientific instruments prove they are under attack.
The trajectories we've tracked, it's been coming from the neighbors. First, you're skeptical, but we've tracked our health, the temperature in the home. We've had blanks that are supposed to reflect microradiation and radar. They're radar reflective material, and they've burned.
Or at one point where it sounded like it was coming from outside or somewhere in another room. Now it sounds more internal, but they were loud for that caliber of sound, if you will, to being really low, low-key, where it was almost like I was being conditioned to hear them.
According to this article in the Washington Post magazine, in 1994, the Air Force Research Laboratory carried out experiments where scientists used technology to transmit phrases into the heads of human subjects. How? By burying subliminal messages in microwaves and beaming them into a person's head.